Hey guys, it's Metalwargod here, and I got a different kind of video today for you guys. This is, let me get some music going first here. Let's see here, track one, and we're playing some Molly Hatchet here in honor of Dave Hilbeck, who passed away this past week. So I have on Warriors of the Rainbow Bridge from, what was it, 2005. So this is a tribute to Dave Hilbeck. Anyway, I have a different kind of video for you guys today. It involves some record storage of picture discs, vinyl, what I store them in, what I used to store them in, and however you guys want to store them in. But hopefully some of you may follow what I do, or some of you are already doing this. And so let's get into it. First off, picture discs. You know how you always buy picture discs, sometimes they're for a decent price. I have over the years, I think I have 10 to date, that didn't come in in any covers. They come in, I don't think I have, actually I do have, let's see here. Let's see if I have it here. I don't know if I have it. Yes, I do, guys. You know, these picture discs, they come in these plastic sleeves like this, you know, and that's how you get them. For the most part, that's how they're shipped. They don't have no covers, no inners, no nothing. And anyway, about a month back, I was watching a video that someone did, and I liked what he did. And so I ordered some material to do this. And anyway, the picture discs went from this concept into this concept. And I think it's a very, very neat concept of how to store these. Of course, ones I have are White Wizard here. Some deal. Of course, those plastic inserts also come with hype stickers, so I cut those off, put them in the back. And so anyway, this is the deal here. Vengeance Rising with Human Sacrifice. Also came with a hype sticker, so I put that in the back as well. These Megadeths also came in, CD1 from Roadrunners, and also CD2 also came from Roadrunners. And I put those in them as well. And then of course I have Anvil Metal on Metal. And I got a couple more here. Another deal. So, and anyway, let's get down here. So I am a little bit farther away from my camera than normal, but this one here, another deal. And Motorhead, also with a hype sticker in the back. I do have other picture discs. I have a Maiden, but that came in a cover. And so anyway, here's what I do. We'll get up here, and anyway, tools you need. I gotta get one other deal here. Sorry about that. This is how I go about doing this. Need a tape, a protractor or whatever, and a good sharp razor blade knife. You could use a 10-inch to mark your circle, but I use this. It has a pencil on the end. An old 12-inch vinyl that's crap, you need this as well. And I also use a cardboard. Now, how I go about is I order I ordered these white die cut LP jackets with the center hole, and they look like this. Both sides are the same, and they eventually turn into these. So what I do is, like I say, you need a tape, protractor, a good sharp blade, an old shitty 12-inch album because you need this for cutting surface, and also you need this, and you also need these. These are the Sleeve City Disc Keepers Anti-Static 2.0 mil inner sleeves. Get those over at Sleeve City. So anyway, here's what I do. I put this inside the album, inside of this jacket, and I kind of get it centered. I put this underneath the bottom, and I kind of get my hole centered up here, the inner of the album with the center of the hole on the jacket. Kind of, I also mark a hole, and I kind of crossed it, made a center mark on the cardboard. So this is your next step in doing this. What I do is I put this in here into the hole, and you need to mark this at 5 inches from tip to tip. Take this, put it, and this is what the cardboard is for, so you kind of have a reference point. And then what I do is I just kind of make a circle around. You're going to have to hold both of these tight to the table and just kind of draw out a circle. Doesn't have to be real heavy, just so you can see your pencil mark. And to make sure that this doesn't move on you, because you don't want your circle to be off at all. If it's off a little bit, you can readjust by cutting it. So anyway, you need this. Or you can use a 10-inch, old 10-inch album that you don't have. You can put that in there and you can circle around it. So anyway, once you have that, this is what you come up with. You come up with this, I hope you can see the circle around here. And that's what you're going to be cutting out. So I leave the cardboard down there, I leave the album inside. I take a sharp utility knife with a sharp blade. Definitely need a sharp blade because you want to make sure these are nice cuts. Slowly just put your razor on there and slowly just press a little harder than normal. And try to keep on your line and just kind of work it around. You don't have to go real fast at this. Just so you cut the top. You don't want to cut the other side of this. That is why the vinyl album is in there. You just want one side cut. And you just keep going around. Take your time. Make sure it's a nice, decent cut. And, you know, it'll take you a few minutes to get around here. You don't need to rush this. You want to make it look neat, professional. At least I like mine very, very nice looking. And then the end product will also look very nice. And so we're getting close to the end here. You don't have to, like I say, rush it. Just go at a pace that's comfortable to you. And I would recommend using a blade over anything else. I think it turns out a lot nicer. You have cleaner edge. And so there I finish. So then I take the blade in here and I see if it's all cut all the way through. If not, I go over it again. Usually the first time through, you'll be able to get a nice clean cut through there. So I just go through it one more time. And usually in most cases it will come out of there. As you can see here, a little bit right here. A little bit right here. Yeah, we got one more little cut. There we go. And we got a little bit over here. My blade must be getting just a little bit dull. I did 9 of these here earlier this week on Friday. So anyway, this is what you need to discard. This is what you need to have for the outer. So I discard that. I put everything else back way out of the way. I take this out of here. Get rid of the cardboard and vinyl. Since this is my last one, I'll actually clean this up a little bit, get all of the paper out of there. Just run my finger through the inside of this here. And there you have a 10-inch hole on the front. Now, you need to take one of these clear poly 2 mil disc keeper from Sleeve City. And I would recommend these. You don't have to use them, but I think these work perfect for these picture discs. So take your picture disc out of your sleeve that you got it in, and wherever you stored it. I take it out of here. I usually stay away from the edges. And of course, in this instance, this is going to be Synbreed. So I take my Synbreed. Of course, you have writing on one side of it. What I do is I turn that to the bottom, and I run the front side of the picture disc on the unwritten side or printed side and slide it in. I usually try to get them centered in there so it looks like this. Now, as you can see, there's nothing written up here on this side, but if you turn it over, it's up here. But you're not going to see that. So anyway, I'm pretty particular how I put these in there. So like I say, this is going to be your front. So now I take that and I insert it in here, and I insert the clear side. So the open end here is up on a closed end here, and this is my open end here. So I slide it in. Take your time with these. You don't want to bend the corners on your sleeves. I hate that. And so anyway, this is what you come up with. Nice and clean, very good looking, and it will last. It'll keep your picture disc nice, and you won't hurt your edges. It'll be protected. And then what I do is I will take, I have it here, I will take a Blake sleeve, and this one is from Clear Bags, and it is a 12 and 11/16 by 12 and 3/8. I like this particular one for single albums. They do work sometimes for doubles, but they got to be, or for gatefolds, they got to be a thinner gatefold in order for these to fit in. But this one will fit perfectly nice in there. And this one has a flap, so I insert it in here. And anyway, this is what it turns out to be. You got the top protected, you pull the back off here and you flap it down, it'll seal. And these are a lot better for protecting your picture disc than the plastic sleeves you come in. Now you can buy these in a 10-pack, and they're like 12 bucks, I believe, 13 bucks over at Sleeve City. You can buy the inserts over at the same place. I use these for these. I don't use them on my other albums. I use a different poly-lined sleeve. But anyway, this is what this turns out to be. Very, very nice, very, very clean, and the end result is it'll protect your picture disc. For years they were not protected, and like I said, a month ago I seen somebody do this, so I wanted to do this as well. So anyway, that is what I do with all of my picture discs. Now, what I use in the past to store my vinyl in, when I started collecting back in the 70s, and of course back in those days, you know, it was all vinyl mostly. Of course, you get your, oh, hang on a minute guys, something happened. Anyway, you get your vinyl, you know, undo it in the shrink wrap. This is what you did, and then you get your you get it out, and it'd come in you know, a sleeve like this and so forth, and you'd always put it back. Years ago, back in the 70s, we did have sleeves. Of course, you get them in this. I usually discard these now. And then what I do is I use these poly-lined white sleeves, static free, for all my vinyl now. And what I do is I'll take my vinyl out. After I'm done, I'll clean it up and I will store them in here. And in the past I would just use these, that's it. Now what I do is I'll put the original insert in here now. And if it was just a plain white one, I would put this back in here years ago and just store it away. But nowadays, let me show you a little bit better. This is what I would do. That's how I did it. And then what I would do is, back in them early days, of course, we only had, let's see if I can get a good one out here. We only had these poly outer sleeves. These are a 3 mil. And so years ago I used to store mine with the open end up like this and slide them in. And that's how they work, just like that. Then I would put them in like this, and you'd have this open up here. And then a number of years after that, I turned them so they're like this. So the open end was out here in the front, so you could slide it in the back, and it would slide in easier. And I did that for many, many, many years, probably 20 years. And over the last, I'd say 8 to 9 years, I've changed a little bit. So get rid of these. These are a 3 mil. Now they do come in a 2 mil, a 3 mil, and they come in these heavy duty 5 mils. Now these you do want to keep, these 5 mil heavy duty outers, because there are going to be circumstances where vinyl isn't going to, your double vinyls or triple gatefolds or a trifold is not going to fit in a regular 3 mil. So therefore, you need to have the 5 mil heavy duty ones. And this here is a 2 mil. They're just cheap. They always tear easy on the edges. I don't use those anymore. Here's another 3 mil, definitely a little bit heavier duty. And like I say, I don't use these anymore. I change out all my vinyl now and put them in those poly lined. Now, Sleeve City or clear bags have those open face 5 mil, 3 mil, 2 mil outers. They also make these clear bags that are with no flaps or with flaps. Now you got to be careful on what you choose. I found there are 2 different kinds that I use for storing my vinyl, and I buy these all the time. One's a little bit heavier than the other, but that doesn't matter, because are you gonna be constantly taking them in and out if you're a huge vinyl collector? Probably not. Anyway, this is from Clear Bags. It has a flap, and this is a 12 and 11/16 by 12 and 3/8. Works perfect. Works perfect for. Let me get rid of this here. Works perfect for these single cover albums. You know, they fit in there really nice. And I usually, of course, flap to the back. They slide in fairly decent. And they look nice. The flap seals very nice. It doesn't have any overdue plastic above this. And of course, again, this is the Clear Bags, so it seals very nice. Now, this is a bag from Sleeve City. And this one is 12 3/4 by 12 3/4. And they also have, actually, let me take that back. They are, it is a 12 11/16 by 12 3/8. That's what this one is. Now, if you take the single album out and use the little bit bigger bag, or the outer, put it in the same way, front out, flat back, and there you have it. Now that this is a little bit oversized, you have a little bit more room over here, and I don't like that. I like my vinyl covers nice and tight. That is why I use these Bags Unlimited 2 mil, because they're perfect. They seal nice on the top. But with these, you get a little bit of an over top of this, which I do not like, because when you come to seal this down, it doesn't seal as good. So I don't use these very often with just these single albums. Some gatefolds will fit nicely in these, so I put them in there. Now when you come to really bigger gatefolds or whatever, for instance, this Deep Purple, it's a huge gatefold, very thick, and it does not fit in these clear bags at all. You cannot get them in there, virtually impossible, as you can see, virtually impossible to get in. So the reason I have two different sizes is for this instance. Bag from Sleeve City, a bit bigger, a little bit oversized. This will fit exactly, very nicely in these. And I'll get it in here for you. And there you go. It slides in there very nicely. It's tight on the edges. The top is nice. You have a little bit more sticking on here, but that's okay. That's fine. You can fold that down for these gatefolds, and it will seal nicely. So that's why I have two different sizes, and they fit nicely. Now, getting back to storing them, as I showed you before, how I used to do it back in the old days. Now what I do is I'll use these bags from Bags Unlimited, single album. I put the inner sleeve that doesn't have the vinyl in there. I will insert this vinyl in here, go all the way down, and then with the album in a polyline sleeve, I put these in a different way. You have two flaps on each side. I like to put these in so they slide in so you don't hit your flap up here. And I also put them in so it's sideways like this. So here's what I do. I put these in the back side here, slide them in, and the album stores on the back side. The reason, and I wholeheartedly believe this, is when you're doing it this way, rather than the album in the cover, this will prevent ring wear. And I do believe this. I just started doing this with a lot of my vinyl. So anyway, that's how I do these. So when I got it all in there, I just pull this flap off of here and I seal it down nice and tight, and nothing. It won't open, it won't do nothing. So there you have a nice sealable outer leg sleeve. with the vinyl back behind there, and looks nice and neat. You can do that with like I say, these heavier albums, triple albums. They do make oversized ones as well, but I don't think they're in a flap. They're in a 5mm oversized, and they do come in. Sleeve CD has a 3mm outer, a 5mm outer, a 5mm outer deluxe. So you'd probably want a deluxe for these bigger gate bolts. You know, and that's up to you guys. It's totally up to you if you want to do it that way. I use 2 different styles for my 12-inch. You also have them in 10-inch too. I don't have very many 10-inch, but anyway, that's what I do with those. Now, when it comes to 7-inch, and of course I had a bunch of these that kind of slipped out of the package, went all over the floor. Anyway, let's see if we can get these straightened up here a little bit. So anyway, let's see here. Let's get this back in if we can. There we go. So if you buy a lot of 7-inch, I'm sure you'd like to protect those just like you do your 12-inch or your 10-inch. And a lot of the times you don't get covers, you just get the inner sleeve for these. So I buy these outers, and I also buy 7-inch polylined as well. Now, I can show you, I think most of them I have are already in there, except for this one. Sometimes they won't fit, the 7-inch will fit in here, but sometimes they will not fit in the outers, but which is very rare. If I can get one open here. Kind of hard to get these. And these 7-inch are very solid now. It won't open for me anyway. Gotta grab another one here and get it open. There we go. Okay, so if your inner is bad, put them in these polyline 7-inch, and then I will. No, I can't get this one open. There it is. So then what I'll do is I'll put my 7-inch in here, like I do with the other vinyl, just to protect it. And there you have. This does have no flap. I don't think you can get them with a flap unless they're making them now. But anyway, this is what I do with the 7-inch in addition to the 12-inch and the 10-inch. And anyway, that is a little demonstration of how I store my vinyl, how I make covers for my picture disc. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you got any information or you want to leave me a comment below, just do so, and I'll see you next time on some more demonstrations. This is Wargod. Take it easy, everybody.